So, test, test, test. See what my mic is doing. How about the desktop audio? Today, we're going to be delving into some getting the mic to work right. There we go. Anyway, we're going to be delving into a number of things around Apache Cassandra and DataStax Enterprise. Let's see here. A few more tweaks as always just to get started. There we go. So, if anybody's listening and I am not clear and the music is too loud, let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to get rolling here. So, running Ubuntu 18.04, just like I was previously. When we set up Postgres in the day one episode about a week ago. Just for clarity, what I'm doing here is every one of these episodes is going to be a new database at day one where we're going to install and set up kind of a dev environment. And then we're going to go back through all those databases and do a day two where we're going to actually write some code or some SQL or some CQL or whatever, actually working with the database. Then we're going to do day three of these databases and go back over even additional things, but beyond the database, actually getting into some application development against each of those databases. And then we're going to also have probably a day of 4 and 5, depending on how things go, about how and what each of these databases is good at being used for and things like that, like what it's good at. Is it a graph database? Is it a relational database? Is it a distributed database, key value store, columnar store, all those types of things. So I'm going to get into that for you. And today we are going to get into installing Apache Cassandra. So let me, one more thing here. So I just wanted to pull up. There we go. Yeah. There we go. So I installed Chromium recently. That's the one edition that was done off camera. Usually between sessions like this, I always make a point to call out if I made some tweak to the machine. Otherwise, they're pretty vanilla machines. Also, you might notice I put in a cool background here. I also put in a cool lock screen. So like if I go and let's see here, log out, yes, and then bounce back in. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted. I just wanted the lock screen. I don't even know how to set up a lock screen on Linux. Let's see here. Lock screen. Can I just set up a lock screen? Oh, the button. There we go. See, nice. Bunches of databases and bunches of weeks. So anyway, with that done, let's get into the actual work here. So I'm going to open up Chromium. For those unaware, Chromium is basically Chrome, but just the open source it's just the open source version, I guess. That nightly build version of it instead of the full released whatever version that Google puts out, even though Google's doing both of them. So anyway, let's get into this. Apache Cassandra. So I'm going to open up the terminal here. So I'm going to show you the quickest way to get Apache Cassandra, at least something that you can read and write from on a machine. Okay, that's the first thing we're going to do, and the easiest way to do that is to go out to Apache Cassandra, click on the download link right at the center, and get out here, add their repo, and get it installed this way. So let's see, if we do echo, this should add that, and then we want to curl the key. That's their public key, so we can attach to their repo, and then we want to sudo apt get update. Let that run for a second. I'm going to check on the status of some things. I believe I installed this last week, but good to just make sure Docker is still installed, yep, and ready to go for us. And so right now I just have last session's Postgres image up there. Alright, so we got an update. So now let's actually add the public key. Oh yeah, so this curl adds the repository, and now we're adding the key to access that repository. And then we can simply do the standard install of sudo apt get install Cassandra. The beautiful thing about this page too is it got the RPM there too if you want to do Synoz or Red Hat. But scrolling down, let's see here, where is it? Check config service, Cassandra start. They also have this to start and check out that stuff. Of course you can clone it too if you want to get into the code, but we're just going to work with terminal right now. Cool. So theoretically it should be started already, but there we go. So now what this has done is it has installed a single node of Cassandra on this machine. So let's go check out their documentation and see what the next step would be, right? So here's getting started. Note a lot of to-dos. So I just installed from the Debian packages. So installing and querying. Let's jump to that, and then we'll talk about some of this other stuff a little later. So if things are going right, we should have this set up. So let's see if we can do CQL sh. So that's the SQL shell, and we'll just do localhost. Let me exit that. Let's actually look over here though. I think that there might be some additional. Yeah, there's the tar, there's the Debian install that we just did. And then that, yeah. There's the start and stop commands. Oh, also, that's a good command to run. The node tool status will let us know if our single node is actually running. Like so. There we go. So yeah, we're running it localhost here effectively. The default configuration files are there, and then we have log and data directories at these two locations. Let's go look at those real quick. There we go. So there's those. Yeah. So what do we got in here? We got JVM options, the Cassandra YAML file. That's one that comes up pretty regularly. So let's just look at that real quick. There we go. So we got a test cluster name, but note, we don't have a cluster. We just have a single node installed right now running. Here's our tokens. Handed handoff is set to true. There's some configuration options in here that are a little weird since we're just running a singular node. But the idea is that this is an install done on a machine for a node that's going to be multiple nodes of a cluster, because Apache Cassandra is a distributed database that has multiple nodes. But again, in this session, we're just setting up a dev environment to get going. So we have that running locally as a service, right? But let's say service Cassandra stop. Let's stop that service. There we go. All right, that's nice that we have that on there. But, you know, a lot of the time you want to run it multi-node. So let's find out what's in Docker Cassandra. Yeah, actually that should be good. So go out here and take a look at the Cassandra options in Docker. Official Docker images. Cool. So they have one. Oh, here's the various versions. We don't want PowerPC, which is some Linux. Yeah, this one. I guess. Yeah, but anyway, so Docker pool Cassandra. So we'll go ahead and pull that down too and take a look at that. Different architectures supported. Image updates here. Official image repos. Source of this description. Supported Docker versions. Alright. So how to use this image. Starting Cassandra image is simple. Oh, love how it says simple. All right, but then what's that give us? So here's the cool thing about this. All right. So just like that local thing we installed, that gives us one node. So the Docker situation is pretty much the same when you're just running a basic thing. So I'll just take that directly from the docs and just run it. Oh, what? Oh, do I need a... Well, let's just do this. There we go. Because there isn't a tag. We could specify a tag. Let's scroll up here. What tags do we have? There we go. We could do 3 or 3.11 or latest. I wonder if the latest would actually give us v4. Probably not, because it just came out. Yeah, we're just at 3.113 is the latest there. All right. So we just started some Cassandra. Let's go take a look at that. There we go. Clear. Docker PS. Yeah, just wanted to see what that would say. Docker PS, up about a minute ago, some Cassandra. All right, so that's a node. We have these various entry points, so let's take a look at those. Whoops. Whoops. Cluster, yeah. Let's take a CQLSH. So SQL shell. There's some docs at DataStax. Look at that. Ha. Oh, so yeah, okay, cookies. That's good. So this is for CQL 3.3. We're up to this though, but this is for Cassandra 3.0. So we want to stick with SQL 3.3. And it should be at bin. Oh, it's a user bin. Oh, let's. Yeah, that's what we'll do actually. So user bin SQL. Oops, CQLSH. And then the question is what port do we attach to, right? Yeah, so we do this, options, and then port. Some of the options, let's see, we got help, color, username. So the default install of this doesn't have a username or password set up. It's just installed, that's it. You can attach to a key space by default, or switch to that key space by default. You can think of a key space as a section where data is put in the node. In the cluster, it's an organizational structure in there where you can then have tables. So if you look at a relational database like SQL or Postgres or MySQL or something like that, you would have the database that you have, and then you would have tables in the database. The key space would be kind of like that. It would be the database. Even though with a distributed database system like this, we generally refer to the entire cluster as a database, right? Instead of just individual pieces. All right, so we got a file name. Oh yeah, to just basically give it a file of CQL commands. Version, SQL statement. Force time to live mode. All right. Connecting to a specific IP. So we can do, by default, it's going to do localhost 9042, right? So now that I have Docker running though, with on whatever localhost port, right? Let's try to do localhost and 9042. No, it doesn't like that. Let's try. Oh yeah, what's that Docker command? Tells you the IP. Docker IP. Oh yeah, Docker inspect. Okay. So let's look at that again. Docker PS, then Docker inspect this container ID. There we go. So we're at 172 gateway IP address. There's our crazy IP address. I think gateway global IPv6 address, IP address. Yeah, 172.17.2. Yeah, okay. And then we got 9042. So, see, we got to go out of our way here to make sure we're going to actually connect to the right thing. So, user, then CQLSH. Let's do it. 172.17.0.2, 9042. What do we get? Name or service not known. There we go. That's what we're trying to do. Why does it say file user modules, read file and main, name or service not known? Let's shut that one down for a second. Stop. Oh, whoops. We're just gonna try the local one again. Service Cassandra start. All right, and now let's do it. We got user bin CQLSH, CQLSH. There we go. All right, so this connected to our local one, right, that we installed via the sudo apt-get install. So now we can do various commands. Let's see, what do we want to try? We want to do, we don't even have. Let's see, let's create a key space. Let's look at that text. Create key space in Cassandra. So we'll just grab this. Let's see here. It's easy enough. So let's create that key space. Create key space. There was an example there, cycling. So we'll just call it cycling. Or actually, let's call it transiting. With replication. Oh, and it's interesting. I forget what exactly it'll break on if we don't give it, but basically we want to say with replication, and since we're on a local machine here, we'll do simple strategy. This is a thing where you need to be specific with the replication. Since it's a local dev box that we're setting up, simple strategy is okay. If you ever deploy a node to use simple strategy in production, you're going to be in a lot of pain. But for simple strategy, it's just fine for the local box. So do that. It says ... and durable rights equals, let's just go with false right now. Wait, what did I do? So create key space transiting. Oh, here we go. This talks more about that network topology. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was talking about. Then we can set up snitches. I have a blog entry about that. I'll post that in the description on this session. Oh, here's a good example. Actually, let's do this. Oh, I didn't write the JSON-y looking stuff right. That's what's goofing it up. So let's do that and then paste this one in. There we go. So we're going to create cycling namespace, use simple strategy, replication factor 1. Now replication factor also super important because this is a distributed database with one node. So it's not really a distributed database. It happens to be a database on one node that could be part of a distributed database. So in this case, we don't want it to try to replicate other places. We want it to do all the reads and writes right here on this machine, and so that we can work with it in a development context, right? So let's run that. Boom. All right, so we have a key space now. Let's see, what else can we do here from this example? Does it talk any more about it? Oh, there we go. So at this point we could do node status. Let's actually do a, how do you do new tab? Yeah, that's what I want. Let's draw that out just a little bit. There we go. So if I do node tool status, it's another good thing to learn. It's our database, and then it says create the cycling key space and environment with multiple data centers. Ah, that's an expansion of what goes on if we had multiple nodes within multiple data centers. So you can have data centers, then racks, and then nodes. Again, another post that I've written about that, I will link in the description. Alright, so it looks like we have all that stuff. So now next step is to, oops, let's see here. We did a key space. Let's do a table. There's our syntax, create table, if not exists, key space name dot table name, then the column definition and a primary key. So let's see here. Does the documentation. This is great documentation. There we go. Check it out. Written for cycling already. That's just right up my alley. So I use that one. Oh, whoops. Wrong terminal window. There we go. So let's submit that. Unknown type cycling full name. Ah, so full name. Does it mention it? Yeah, so it's not a data type. It's a created type, right? So let's see. I need to go over, and then to use that example, we need to create a type. Let's scroll down. I'll bet that type is there. Yeah, look at that. Cycling basic info. Let's add that one. They have a full name type too. So using CQL examples. Maybe they have another thing with that. Let's hear. Role? Create user. No, it's not role. I mean user. And role is, yeah, that's the security context. So that's adding users and roles to the database, but we don't want to do that. Maybe it's, yeah, it probably is type. So we just created that. Let's write another one though. Let's just create it ourselves. Create type cycling dot full name. And then we'll go with, let's see here, this would open. We'll go with, let's see here, first name, or we'll just first, then text, last text, notes, text, and let's do birthday here too. That seems like whatever. So then we'll close that, and boom, there we have that type now. So we should be able to go back info. Let's actually copy it from, can you copy it from here? Probably not. We'll need to go back in the docs and grab that. There we go. So yeah, so we'll go with race winners here. Let's get that sucker in there. Oops. There we go. Cool. Let's actually close that down. So we have that in there. This is all cool that we've been doing it via the terminal. But if you're like me, you want to see things graphically in a database. So I have some solutions for Cassandra with you around that. So with everything running, I'm going to go and, oh, where'd my, oh, toolbox. We're going to go out here and take a look at something that I actually have not used before, but somebody was showing me some cool stuff in it today, and I'm going to show you. So we're going to install DataGrip. So the cool thing about DataGrip, one, we'll probably use it on all of these sessions, because when I get it installed, wait till you see all the options it has to look at databases. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And we'll talk more about primary keys and the actual fundamentals of Cassandra specifically and a columnar store, which it is, in the context of it being a distributed database in the future. Right now, again, just getting a dev environment set up. There we go. So let's try to get this puppy open. And open Chrome back up too, because we're going to go out and we're going to get the, let's see here, DataStax Docker. Yeah, this is what we're going to do next. Just want to pull that up. Our Docker images have been updated recently. Yeah, all right, so yes, GitHub, thank you, etc. All right, here we go. Let's hear tip of the day. I don't want that. But this is DataGrip, right? So let's go in here, say new project. Apache Cassandra test drive. Let's do it in this window. There we go. Attached to a directory of, oh yeah, I don't need SQL scripts yet. We're not even going to do SQL scripts. Let's see what it takes to get connected to this though. There we go. Bunch of database familiar looking stuff there. So let's see, where is it? Apache Cassandra. See, I noticed this before, and you'll notice, look at this, Azure SQL, XSL, H2, DB2, MariaDB, SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, Postgres, SQLite, Sybase. Mostly relational database oriented, but Cassandra's in here. So that's pretty awesome, really, along with the cloud databases. All right, we're going to connect to localhost. That's true. Let's connect to the cycling key space. I don't really need that. There's where the driver is going. I imagine they'll add other databases. Oh, the driver is missing, so let's download that. There we go. All right, so that seems to be there. Connecting to the database. Port 942, comments. Something at localhost. Yeah, let's do that. And check that out. That is beautiful. So yeah, roles, Cassandra role. Then we got our object types, that basic info that we created, right? And the full name. Look at that. It just spits it right out. This is awesome. Race winners. There's our table. Select asterisk from table, limit 501, allow filtering. It's a good query to run against it. Nothing is in there. Let's see if we can add something just by like, oh, look at that. There's our primary key across that. Yeah, with the designator by itself separated. Cyclist name. So let's here, we can add columns, CQL console, data source. Interesting. So in modify table, I assume is probably going to make us, yeah, so we go in here and we'd actually modify the table. Don't want to do that though. I want to actually just put some data in the table. Synchronize, drop, dump data, import data from a file, copy table to, script extensions, diagrams. Oh, well, let's look at that real quick. Show visualization. Oh, that's cool. So basically we can set up a diagram, right? Okay, let's... There's got to be a way to just add a table, modify table. Nope, I just want to insert data here. Well, we'll just do... Yeah, let's do console. There we go. So we'll do insert. Let's check out the syntax here. CQL insert data. There we go. So pretty much the same as SQL and relational database. So got insert into blank values. Let's see if they continue to. I got examples. Yep. So there's one with the cycling. Oh, and here's multiple ones. Let's actually do that. And then if we run it, I wonder what that means in this context. Oops, there we go. Connected using site completed in 14 seconds. Let's try this one. It should say the same thing, I believe. Settings. Ah, here we go. So ask what to execute, otherwise execute whole script. Oh yeah. When inside statement execute, ask what to execute, otherwise execute whole script. Yeah. That's fine. Okay, data views. SQL dialect. Oh, look at that. Apache Cassandra. Yeah, let's add that. Global SQL dialect. Yeah, we'll stick with Postgres because that's going to be the global one. And project mapping. Yeah, I don't want to mess with that right now. Alright, so we got that unconfigured table. Oops. Unconfigured table, data, grep, unconfigured table. Is that my problem? Oh. Oh, even worse. That's We had, oh, I'm copying weird stuff. That's the problem. There we go. So that basically meant, you know, that it didn't exist. Cyclist name. Anyway, so again, we're going to write it out then. So let's write ourselves out one. So we're going to do insert into cycling race winners. That's configured. And then we'll do race name. Yep. Oh, thank you. That makes that easy. And values. Let's go down to the next level, just like above. Thanks. I'll borrow the... Oh, actually, there is no GUID. So let's go with race name. Fast race. And race position first. And we'll go Janet 1. Whoops, can't spell Janet, can I? There we go. Get rid of this. Yeah. Let's try to execute that. What the hell? Race name, race position, cyclist. Oh, am I quoting wrong? Yep. I do that all the time. Sometimes being polyglot, it just bites you right in the ass. Statements. Yes, let's run this whole thing. Oh, so that's how it asks, that configuration that I just set. Type frozen full name. Oh, frozen full name. That's right. So how do you... we would need to put in the full name type. So... So there's how we'd have to do that. Let's see here. So down here. Counter type. Let's go here and we'll find it. Inserting and updating data. Okay, so here's some simple data. There's the calendar. Actually, let's see about that. Insert. Cycling, SQL, race data. There we go. So what did we create? We created cycling race, right? Yeah, cycling. Oh, race winners, yeah. So there's that. Let's simplify this. And we'll come back to this. We'll actually make, let's do this. Do a modify column. We're just going to call it, we're just going to turn it into a string. I mean a text. There we go. Execute. Oh yeah, I didn't think it would let me do that. Let's do this. Let's modify. Wait, let's modify table. Actually, here. Table key. No, let's just do this. Column cyclist name. Oops, full name text. There we go. There we go. So now we can do init null. Janet Peterson. There we go. Now run that. Oh, so it's selected off. Ain't gonna do anything. Oh, whoops, didn't update this. This name and then cyclist full name. Let's try it again. There we go. Invalid string constant first for raised position of type int. Oh, derp. And done. There we go. So that's a first test drive with data grip. That's pretty cool that it can look into the database in this way. I'm curious though where it put my DDL source, data source. Where did it put my? Let's look at schema. Yeah, new schema, sure. Oh, that ain't gonna work. Okay. Diagrams, yeah, show visualization. Oh, it's just for the system. You can do the whole thing. Interesting. So this would come in real handy too in drawing relationships in a relational database. Cool. So that's that. Let's move on now to some DataStax stuff here. All right, now Apache Cassandra is the open source distributed database, fairly well known, available out there on the web. The main place to start really is the page I went to earlier, right here. It's got documentation, download, community links to get out there and get involved in the community. A lot of users, developers, email list, discussion threads, etc. Also a great book. Got to give a shout out. Jeff Carpenter and Eben Hewitt. I got this book, read it. Solid book. Definitely get it if you want to dive deeper into Cassandra. Alright, but so what is DataStax? Let's talk about DataStax for a minute. DataStax has been a core contributor in the past and is heavily involved with Apache Cassandra. Cassandra makes up the core database offering that is the DataStax Enterprise offering. And DataStax also offers, in addition to that, a lot of other components to the database, including graph store, analytics, all sorts of other stuff, being able to query on geodata, time series, whatever you need to do. There's a lot of expanded capability around Cassandra itself with the DataStax offering. So let's take a look at where to go here. So you can go here to the DataStax website and you can find a little bit more information about things like the studio, for instance. This is another thing that DataStax offers that runs basically on the core there, which is made up of Cassandra. And, well, it doesn't really show you a lot here. But let's install it and look at some of these things. And the way I'm going to do that is actually with Docker. And this is going to be, you're probably going to be amazed at how easy this actually is. So let's clone this. Well, let's get to a right directory first. Clear list. I want to go, let's here, make directory codes. And now I'm going to clone that. There we go, list, Docker images. So in here, we've got all types of things going on, right? But the core thing to get started really quick, which I've used a number of times, the README is pretty solid. We'll go back, maybe talk about a little bit of that stuff, but the thing that's really powerful, as I was talking about earlier, if you have a distributed database, you have multiple nodes, or you want theoretically to have multiple nodes. Otherwise, working against a single node, that's not always going to give you an exacting way to be developing against it. It's workable, it helps you get some stuff in, pull some stuff out, but if you want to really test the capability of what's going on and see what's going to happen as the database replicates data out to additional nodes and things like that, you want to use Docker Compose and Docker, at least for the development environment on your local box. If you have another development environment that's more expansive and a team is working on, you probably want to set up like a 5-node cluster that's running by itself, not really with Docker or Docker Compose, but basically 5 nodes of some type in the cloud or something for development purposes, or on 5 different machines. So let's hear the README file is definitely fleshed out more. But if you look in example compose YAMLs, this is where we get straight into the Docker Compose, and we can set up 3 node setups with Op Center and Studio, without, however you want to do it. So I want to actually show you Op Center and Studio. So let's see if we can get on this machine 3 nodes are up and running. So now if I go back out to the terminal, and let's see your list, and then example compose YAMLs, go in here, and I run Docker Compose -f Docker, and this is passing in the file, the YAML file, -f another YAML file, compose.opcenter.yaml, and then .f docker compose.studio.yaml, up-d, etc. So I'm going to actually paste that in so I don't mess it up. You'll notice on the tail end here, after -d, says scale node 2. So it knows with that parameter to scale up a 3-node cluster. So it has the seed node and then the additional 2. So let's do that. Oh, I don't have Docker Compose. Easy fix. So I'm going to install that real quick. As you saw earlier, I already have Docker installed. So getting Compose is just a really quick install. And since this is Linux, no crazy reboots like on Windows. You don't need to go through any additional steps like on macOS to do some of this stuff. You just get it and then use it. All right, there we go. Now we can scale them up, or pop them up, load them up. Okay, and gigabit comes in handy right there. So it's got to pull down all these various images real quick. So some of them get pretty big, like this part here, or I shouldn't say image, the layers, the file layers of the drive image, or image, however they say that. Docker images are made up of different layers, and that's what you're seeing get pulled right here. So the overall image for most of these is somewhere around like 800 megabytes to a gig. They're pretty big, but they got a lot of stuff on them. If you're going to make images to deploy to production, DataStax doesn't really have a specific support option around that because it's still pretty sketchy. You really got to know what you're doing with containers to be able to do that, and it's questionable what kind of performance you get in certain types of scenarios. But in light of that, there's definitely some options, and there's a lot of options around doing development this way. Because as you're going to see, Here it's pulling down the DSE, the actual node server versions now. And yeah, see, there's a big one, 988.4 megabytes. But anyway, once all this is pulled down, it takes literal seconds to just get the whole thing up and running. That cup is like 1 billion years old. It's as old as GitHub is, practically. Alright, now the image starts loading up there. It looks like it's done. So let's do Docker. Oops. Docker. Oh, what's going on here? Lost my mouse now. That's no good. Now my question is, let's look at Task Manager and see what's going on with this VM. Because it might be that we're going into hardcore overdrive mode. As you can see here, Docker might have blown up my VM here. Oh, and some heavy processor usage. See the spikes there. Memory is, well, it's just 17 gigs, or 16.7. Committed 22.9 of 36.5, cache 10.4. Disk C and then V. Oh, this is, so I don't know if you can see this. This is actually the drive where the VMs are running off of. So it might be under a little bit of duress, as you can see. It's spiked up over here to the right side. So heavy usage. Oh yeah, it's writing like crazy. So it may be thrashing. But we'll find out in just a second. On the Ethernet is spiking up too. 13 megabytes. GPU cores. I don't know. Something's amiss. Uh-oh. What's that? Did we make some progress though? I am unsure of what just occurred there. But we're waiting for a few more minutes here and see what happened. I still have spiked disk usage, which is way up. Yeah, so VirtualBox Manager is using 30+% of the CPU. It only says 138 megabytes of that. Chrome is going crazy. Let's actually, I'll kill Chrome. That doesn't need to be running. Oh god, Chrome's running 800 other places. In task. Oh, whoops. Oh, I don't want that stupid thing running either. Get out of here. Oh, Slack doesn't need to be running. Good god. What was I thinking? And Skype, does that even, well, that ain't on. OBS, yeah, I want that. This doesn't actually need to be running right now either. And this doesn't need to be running. So OBS isn't too bad. This executable, I don't even care about. Get out of here, malware. Oh, whatever. VirtualBox getting up there though. Disk, 43 point something megabytes. See, if I had it connected instead of the USB connection, this would probably be going a lot faster, but something is going on there. I think it's thrashing. I'm not sure if I want to give it more time or go ahead and kill it. Yeah, and the memory's not even really like getting hogged. All right, let's I'm gonna do a power off. Restore. Oh. Boom. So that's that. That freed up everything. So, all right, we're gonna try to get that started again. Databases. Now this particular image has not minimal stuff. Let's hear. So we're talking plenty of video driver stuff. But system, we got 8 gigs dedicated, 4 cores. So you know that should be good. But if it blows up again, we'll bump up those cores and everything. See if we can't get somewhere that way. There we go. What do we have running? Okay, nothing running there. So let's go back in our working directory that we were working in. And back into example, compose YAMLs, list. Oops. And then clear that again. What was that last? Let's see if we can get back to our last command. Oh no, we don't have that. Okay. We will go back to that GitHub repo actually. Well, no, I'll show you another thing. So all that documentation with like what commands to run and everything is actually right here in the repo directory. It's the best way to go get it. See, there's the Studio Op Center YAML. Yeah, please install the Docker extension. Thank you. Then the primary Docker Compose one for the DSE server. And then the README. So let's just get a 3-node cluster running. We'll see if that works. Oh, looks like it killed the box again. That is brutal. So you're bouncing back to this. You can see VirtualBox again has spiked up the disk usage, so it's thrashing the disk usage under default setup like this. So it makes me wonder, like, what is the settings in here that are causing that? So there's disk storage, standard database here. It's at 14 gigs. No reason it should be doing that. Yeah, nothing. Let's bump up the resources and see what we get. So I'm going to go in here. See if we can send the shutdown signal to just shut down. Give it 15 seconds. 1, 2. Oh, I did it. Good. Whew. All right, going back at it again. Let's see if we can shut it down and get the sudo shutdown halt now. So I want it to shut down properly, and then I'll start it back up with appropriate resources. Alright, so display system. Let's go to 16, what is it, 384. 384. There we go. Processor, we'll put these up to, let's go to 6. Yeah, the VBox editions are installed. And welcome back to the stream. Love those crazy avatar things and such in the chat. It's always good stuff. All right. So next attempt, we got it juiced up a lot more. 16 gigs of RAM. There we go. Let's take a look at those again. We'll do a single node with Studio. Let's try that. And if you're curious, yes, this has worked before. These breakages are new to me. Oh look, that happened crazy fast. So Docker compose PS. There we go. Okay. So let's get... Uh-oh. It's getting chunky though. And if I look at my resources here... Oh, Chrome's being murderous again, as it does. So your VirtualBox Manager, the disk reads and such aren't as heavy duty. I need to make sure that that's connected to USB-C or on the actual machine next time instead of on my little attached drive. See, this is what my VM's actually running on, little SSD sucker. All right. Alright, let's do localhost. I'll have completely spaced. What is the port I'm going to do? Let's just go through the list, huh? 9042. That's the CQL port. And then here. Ah. Yeah, let's hear port for DataStax Studio. Is it again? Space in that. So normal standard stuff. SSH22. Spark application website is on 4040. DSE file system, Spark master node, worker gremlin, see search. There it is, 9091. Was that open? 90. Well, we're going to try it. Oh, it is there. Okay, even though this didn't show that it was up and live, maybe I just need to Docker compose it again. There we go. Yeah, I don't see 9091. That's weird. Anyway, whatever. So here, this is basically a notebook application that'll let you go in and work with Graph, Studio, things like that. So if we navigate in here, we get the awesome distributed database cluster spinny wheel. Let's try query fail 9042. Things might not be 100% up and running just yet. Oh, maybe it just took a minute. Anyway, so drop your notebook here. It's basically different steps you can go through to try out these Studio interface here. So that's your connections. Is it still not working? Should be working. Something's just not up and running yet. Sometimes it takes a minute on some of them. So the other one is 8888. I don't believe I started that one up though, right? Yeah, I just did Studio, not the other one. So clear. Let's go Docker compose down. Well, so it's not actually on. Yeah, it's on USB 3. That's right. Because it's in. Here, check this out. I'll show you the crazy setup I got. So this is connected via USB-C, then USB 3 to the SSD drive. So that was basically the easiest way to set this up because I only have the one USB-C port. It's a little crazy. I did get the port from Dell that has the extra USB-C connection that I can connect the drive to, and it's like 10 times faster than this USB 3 mess. So I'm betting it'll probably work just fine on it. Or if I just decided to move the VM to the local machine, then it would be just fine too. So there we go, though. Yeah, it is pretty fancy. Where did my image go? There it goes. Yeah, sometimes you get these messages. Run Docker compose down again. Orphan container? Okay. Let's try to run 3 node setup with Op Center. There we go. All right, let's see if it blows up. Run this. We'll bounce over and see if we see a spike. Because what happened before was the disk usage goes crazy. It goes up to like 50 megabytes a second. It's totally peaked out for, yep, there it goes. 91 megabytes, 116. It's bursting like crazy. So that's probably frozen my VM image. Yep, totally nukes it. Makes it almost unusable. Oh, wow. I got it back. Holy bananas. So that says, let's see. So let's try Docker compose PS. Looks not PD. There we go. Sweet. Okay, exit 1. So one of the nodes crashed. That might be why we actually have access to it. So let's see if I can go to this app now. Yeah, it's still struggling at 36 megabytes a second. But I at least have the machine back for the moment, it appears. Looks like it's dying on itself again. That's a bummer. So lesson learned. The drive, the VM needs to be on here if you expect to have enough throughput for it. I'm going to give it a second or two more though. But I need to wrap this one up, and then I'm going to dive into some Go coding again. Yeah, looks like I might have to kill it. Yeah, so basically what I'm doing is killing here. I'm going to send this shutdown signal, give it 20 seconds to see if it'll kill itself. It's still trying to process it. It's just not happening though. All right, hard power off. And then I'll bet we're going to be totally clean, right? Yeah, that disk usage just drops to nothing. Cool. Well, for the moment here, let's see here. The question is who do we want to raid for now? Let's go raid Code Phobia, maybe. What's Code Phobia working on? Maybe, let's see, Lucky Slevin is doing a AWS Twitch extension hackathon. Oh, cool. And Robert Tables is doing other stuff. So I'm just going to raid Robert Tables. That's what I'm going to do. So, me and you can raid Robert Tables. And I will be back in about 25 minutes actually writing some code, if you're interested in joining me for that. Oh, why not dual boot? Okay, so why no dual boot? Because I'm actually dual booting right now, but I don't have the Linux machine set up fully on this. I had Windows set up, but I'm about to actually remove it and be running Linux locally 100%. And then I'll be running just Linux VMs on top of Linux VMs, which is even easier and less troublesome than this. So that's why no dual boot. Also, it's just extra stuff to keep up with. It's easier if I just have a single core OS and then whatever on the local machine. I mean, on the VMs, etc. So, but anyway, I'll delve into that a little bit more on a stream in the future too. But for right now, let's raid Robert Tables. How do I spell Robert Tables? Robert Tables. Is that his? All right, hold on. I'm checking real quick. Make sure I'm spelling it right. Yeah, Robert Tables. Okay. There we go. Let's do it. Oh, there's 3 of us now, so. Oh man, what is it? All right, hold on. Bear with me. My screen. I can't see the whole damn thing to raid. Oh, Windows, you're such a psycho. There we go. We're going. We'll be there in a jiffy.